What it do, what it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Peace Dealer, and welcome to another weekly live astrology horoscope. Happy full moon. I will be doing a ceremony tomorrow. I see y'all in the live chat right here. What's up, Yada B? And of course the camera's right there. So yeah. Um, I'm gonna switch things up a bit. Happy Gemini season. Let's take the next few moments to breathe down into our diaphragm. An ascended master Gemini gave me this. Miko, some of you know, she's a Gemini. She's a Gemini with a Aquarius moon and a Sag rising. So yeah, this is just brimming with energy. But yes, let's breathe down to our diaphragm and breathe out gratitude. And at the same time, really keep in your mind's eye the past 6 months. And I just want you to focus on your intention. And what is your deepest wish? What is the deepest wish of your inner child? Because most of you watching are adults. So as adults, you make plans and you achieve goals. Aww. And as inner children, your inner children have desires, heart's desires. So what the past 6 months has helped you learn to do is, instead of just intending on a focus or a goal, you're learning how to integrate everything you do in your routine while channeling what it is you wish for and intend. It's not even wishing, it's intention, right? So it's kind of like Midoriya, who learned to use his power more. Instead of just focusing when he needed it, he learned to keep it coursing through his body constantly. And once again, as you breathe down into your diaphragm, you want to breathe in the satisfaction, the feeling, the vision of you being it. It's actually mental projection. You want to be there in the future, right? So you're anchoring yourself in the future, keeping it fixed. You're breathing in that energy to ground it into now. You're breathing out gratitude, and everything you do in your reality, you're keeping that anchor. So everything you do is going to have you walk into that reality. And that is how you co-create with the universe. The best part, of course, is to squeeze tight when you have that intention and release. So join me at the end after I pull the cards for the 12 Zodiac signs. I am going to give you a Uranus and Taurus body hack and Saturn and Capricorn homework. Okay. This is very powerful because we are in the Ascension portal. And this Ascension portal of consciousness is bringing us out of the realm of spirit and into the realm of reality. Okay? Don't be so caught up in the logic traps and fallacies. Your dark shadow has an intuitive intelligence. And life is not about doing right versus wrong. Sometimes you do wrong to people who deserve wrong, and you do good to people who deserve good. Sometimes you're supposed to be disrespectful to people who are disrespectful, and you're respectful to people who deserve your respect. In this sense, you definitely want to be open to more unique ways of embracing this duality. And once again, like a lot of this got hot in here real quick. A lot of this portal is not just bringing into fruition our intent, but it's also manifesting 6 months of spiritual work. So tomorrow in the ceremony, the value of this is we're going to do the breathing technique and group intentional focus in a very mutable full moon, which is going to manifest 6 months of intentional vibrational ceremony work. Huge results. All right. And it's definitely going to accelerate a lot of what you're doing. Now, one thing about magical energy, see, this is the thing, especially for a full moon like this and a new moon like this, my friends, there's still people out there who don't believe in magic. If you were to talk to them about magic, even if you were to ground it in a very metaphysical way, it's something they don't believe. Magic and miracles that are mundane. Magic is not necessarily something that you just conjure up and just do. That's psychic power, all right? It's cardinal. Magic is existential. We breathe in magic. We all have magical parts of ourselves. Magic is inherently tied into perception, and magic is ever conscious. Sagittarius represents the ever breathing, ever living facet of magic imbued in consciousness. So this is something that is definitely going to open up your perception about how reality changes. And when you aren't grounded enough and you have too much magic, or you're being too magical, or you're experiencing too much magic, you can be accused of being delusional. You are not delusional if you step outside of a current subjective norm and standard. Now, that does not excuse behavior you do just because you don't fit that box. Obviously, what Saturn in astrology teaches you is to have responsibility and own up for what you do so that you have discernment. However, you want to be very mindful. A lot of how dark forces will undermine and circumvent your breaking through of this portal, accepting greater beliefs about yourself, is to psychologically respond with every expression of you believing in your power with a negative stimuli. It's the dark form of Pavlov's experiences. Most of you with Pluto oppositions or especially Cancers, you've been feeling it, okay? A lot of people are feeling this, where whenever you activate your love, whenever you genuinely like something, or whenever you feel proud of yourself or someone else, there's another force that's making you either feel guilty for it. And see, it's not making you do anything. So that's not the right word. It's not making you do it, but it influences you to actually fight for your right to feel it. That's not an unconscious or subconscious impulse within you. Some of you may think that it's a part of you. Some of you attribute depression to emotions and vibrations that don't even originate from you. And once again, you know what I mean? Like, it's up to you to have responsibility, and you don't in any way want to shed or shift blame. But another part of this, spiritual war is realizing a lot that most people take credit for is not really belonging to them. That's why in these ritual ceremonies, I always encourage us to release guilt, release shame. And a lot of this has to do with programming that mass generations have received to keep us kind of stunted at some level, or just due to the ignorance in the time period, a little bit of both. All right. So really keep this in mind. As you maintain this diaphragmatic breath, once again, let's just take the next few minutes to focus on what it is that we wish and intend to manifest now directly, okay? Once again, and this will lead into the homework. You'll find with Gemini season, every breath you take is much more magical and powerful than you expect. It's a lot of subtlety here. So, if anything, there might be a special sense of importance that will be bestowed on you, because a whole lot of how you understand yourself is going to magically change. And that's the whole facet of mutability. This happens every 6 months. So it's like a routine checkup with magi's, okay? And ever since the full moon and new moon in the full moon in Gemini and the new moon in Sagittarius, we had 6 seasons, okay? The new moon in Capricorn, and then Aquarius, and then Pisces, and then Aries, and then Taurus, and now Gemini. Each stacked energy and gave you a different dimension of your spiritual self, your non-material self, in the form of higher ideals and facets of yourself you think of yourself as. You know what I mean? Like, there's no such thing as a there's no such thing perhaps as like, sorry. You can't see yourself. You know what I mean? The concept of a self, Aries, identity, your thought, your minds, these aren't material concepts, but these have upgraded. So this full moon in Sagittarius is going to spark off 2 very epic, magical weeks every day from today. The next 2 weeks is going to take all the 6 months of concepts and now just like put it all together. So let me explain that. Like, we stepped into the spiritual portal in Capricorn season. We understood our greatness. We understood that we have much greater potential. We understood what it is that gives us integrity. And in Aquarius, we understood our genius. We understood the spiritual sense of what it is we know and the knowledge of our identities. Pisces season, March of 2017, we understood our divinity. This was very important because we got to connect with source and spirit in new ways. Whereas last year, we connected with spirit in our evolving ways where we were still broken and experimenting. Now we connected with spirit, sure of who we are. Aries season, we established this identity and we focused on each chapter. Taurus season, we now established our value, okay? And now that we're in Gemini season, all of these facets that we're now with our truth are going to now come together. Instead of just being focused on one, now over the next 2 weeks, they're all going to come together and come up to some package. Bam, this is our truth. And then we're going to move forward to that in the Cancer season and battle with that finished package. That will truly be finished by Libra season, okay? But it's definitely very powerful because a lot of the difficulty or challenge, because it's really not difficult, this is super easy, with Chiron and Aries square Saturn and Capricorn, is having to deal emotionally with opposition and having to psychically feel negativity being projected at you. That Chiron and Aries wants you to stand up and be the warrior and be like, so what? I have Thor's hammer. I'm making independent decisions. And now let me break this down, because this is why I'm saying this is not about being right or wrong. Some of you, your souls and spirits are just doing things because you want to, before you even know why, if there even needs to be a reason, because Aries doesn't need a reason. Aries is just going to do it, right? So some of you are just doing things, and it's meant to bring out more independence and sovereignty. There's a very rebellious extent and level to this that's guided by the North Node in Leo. You're really determining who the ops are in your life. And a lot of this magical shift is going to upgrade and add so much meaning to your life. This is going to be one of the more meaningful full moons that you experience and really go through. So I really don't want to undermine how magical this is. Some of you don't even have to breathe in while you do this. You can just maintain mental understanding. But once again, a lot of what you focus and a lot of what you think will ground into reality much of these concepts as well as these blessings for you. Okay. The best part of this week, to be honest, is the grand water trine that's going to take your emotional intelligence and evolve it to the next level. So a lot of you have been going through a lot of emotional drama. Some of you are with soulmates or AKA twin flames who get you at a mental level, but you're at war with their emotional bodies. And this is going to baptize and initiate a lot of people's magical aura and just life force energy. So one of the huge dynamics and dilemmas is that people's energy bodies are awakening up. People's moon signs and energy bodies are awakening, and their intuitive intelligence over the past 6 months has grown more. So now our body has to connect with our emotional body. And some of your emotional bodies are not the same as your mind. Some of you have a good Mercury Sun trine with someone else. You know what I'm saying? Some of you have a very powerful Sun trine, but your moon squares their Mars or your moon squares their sun. And so your emotional body just cannot get along with them. Even though on a soul level you connect, or even though like on a conscious level you connect, your soul just is irked by them. And you're having to find different ways of dealing with that dynamic where it's like, wow, you know what I mean? Your energy body is responding in very volatile and unconventional ways to other people, which could affect your moods. And in some cases, unless some of you, it's like your mind hates them and your energy body hates them or likes them, you know, it works in that sense too. So really keep that in mind. A whole lot of how this grand water trine is going to, thank you, Morgan. A lot of how this grand water trine is going to affect you will have much to do with how well you surrender to these feelings. All right. Venus is going to be grand water trining Jupiter in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces. Right now, and as we speak, your heart is breaking ground into new sincerity to where you can establish closer bonds with people. And it's a transit like this that's going to kill and dead all superficiality in connections with others, even casual connections, to where you actually care enough to be intimate in some context. But because Venus is opposite Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, it's not just a grand water trine. It's stabilized by this earth energy. Jupiter and Neptune are sextile in Capricorn. It's all opposing. So this adds more stakes. It's more serious and it's more transformative. You sharing your feelings with someone can greatly alter and shape the way they feel about you and feel more open and vulnerable around you. But enough with that. What is really important is how much deeper you'll be able to feel, because your heart is now sincerely transforming based on the reality, the harsh reality of what it is you could realistically manifest for yourself, especially in terms of interpersonal relationships. Your psychic and emotional connections with other people being represented by Venus in Cancer, fleshing out new ground in your body to feel deeper from your heart, is connecting with Jupiter and Scorpio, adding more depth to how you can feel an intimacy based on that, and then also transcending your imagination to perceive magically all sorts of possibilities of how this can connect. Everything that is happening now, Mercury and the sun will also activate. So you could really, activate this over the next 2 weeks by being as delusional as you can possibly be. The crazier, you don't want to be crazy, you want to be strange. What you want to do is inadvertently short circuit your mental critical mind so that you're over the next 2 weeks allowing your spirit and emotional body to flow free without any sort of, this is going to be impossible for some of you, but some of you know how to really go full fish tarn like Pisces. This will be very powerful because what's going to happen is you won't necessarily be affected by any programs to stop you. And this will allow your energy to freely define itself, because what you think is delusional is not really delusional. Some of you are in what, like, think about it. The whole notion of Saturn and Mercury is to keep, the reason why chakras have to be restricted is so that more energy doesn't flow than is necessary. So we don't burn out more of our life force. So your mind is going to just focus at a certain level, but the energy could be free flowing, but it's going to be focused. So when you start to vibrate higher and when you start to go crazy, you go above the bounds that the mind, that you yourself subjectively have placed. And this, of course, will simulate all sorts of feelings in one sense, but also help you get out of your mind. For those of you who like to channel, this is a great way to do so. Sometimes it's hard for you to channel because you're so stuck in your mind. Margaret said she started a comedy improv class. Improv is one of the best ways to develop your psychic ability, because when you're on the fly, it forces you to really connect with your intuition. Miss Kiki said limitless. And this is what's happening for the collective. A lot of people, especially those of you with deity souls, you're starting to connect more to the inner world that you have and bringing it into your reality, manifestation, okay? Really keep this in mind, because in order for you to embrace this grand water trine, you have to embrace the inner creep. You have to embrace your insecurities. You have to embrace the part of yourself that does not always feel the most pure and that isn't always the most right to feel. You have to embrace the dark parts of yourself, because if you feel the good, but then when the bad comes up, you're like, oh, I can't feel that, that's not right, then you're missing the process and the point. You're meant to just feel everything so that all of those feelings can come into harmony and unity, and you don't judge the good feelings and you don't judge the bad feelings. Allow your own emotional body to weave and tell you a story. And because it's coming from your emotions, when your emotions communicates to your mind, it does not use real concrete logic. It will give symbols. It will give signs. It can tell stories and parables, because it has to find a way to take non-corporeal concepts and put it in a way your mind can understand so it can process. Your mind doesn't want to be known and understood. Your soul doesn't want to be known and understood. It just wants to be felt. So in order to have you feel it, it's going to introduce and do things that are going to be moon card illusions. Sometimes you need to tap into illusions through Neptune to understand reality. This is why Mercury and Neptune are opposite each other, Virgo and Pisces. The key here is to not attach to the illusions and hold on to them, but to just experience it for what it is. And this is how your own magic communicates with you. Unless you try and critically, it's kind of like people who try and read the Bible and truly assume that everything in the Bible is 100% literal truth, instead of it being a divine allegory for your body as the temple of Christ. Okay, so once again, really keep this in mind. A lot of your telepathy, a lot of your psychic ability is slowly but surely opening, and consequences of your actions will be paramount. This is that square of Capricorn and Aries, but Chiron here is wanting to remind you, with Mars and Aquarius, you are a sovereign being. Take responsibility for what you've done, but do not allow anyone else to assert themselves on you. The interpersonal politics of how you engage with people is completely revolutionizing. Uranus and Taurus is changing the game, and a lot of you are getting psychically attacked because people who played psychological manipulation games on you are getting their karma back. Some of your energy bodies are clapping back at people. And by the time you think about clapping back at them and trying to hold yourself back, you don't know your spirit body already did it. Some of you have moon in Scorpios, moon in Capricorns, moon in Pisces. By the time your conscious mind is thinking about what your soul is doing, your soul has already done it. It's used your physical vessel. We have evolved our spirit bodies so much that for the first time in a long time, our super conscious selves are using our conscious selves through our subconscious selves, instead of before where our conscious selves had a lot more control and we were supported by the subconscious. This ego death happened over the past 3 years is what whittled down the conscious force so that you can tap into the superconscious more. So a lot of your inner self is using your body. A lot of your inner self is using your consciousness. And over the next 6 months, we're going to build our real self so that we can balance it. Nicoletta said it's called walking all realms at once. And yes, this is definitely what we're going to not only step into, but living in both waking worlds at the same time, which will very powerfully add so much more wisdom and abundance for us. All right. Other than that, the whole concept of things that you were told were right and wrong, good and evil, they're definitely, thank you, Miss Kiki. They're definitely not only revolutionizing, but they're also, as is will be the theme of this week, revealing things that you've always felt were real, but were told were false, okay? What I love about Gemini and Sagittarius is once those two zodiac signs get together, everything changes. Sagittarius and Gemini is literally one of the most magical power couples ever, whether man, man, woman, woman, man, woman, especially man, woman. But definitely be mindful. Not only does everything change, everything that is false is brought up to light. Sagittarius will show everything that needs to change. Over the next 2 weeks, what your life means is going to change. Diavolo nailed it. You can't gaslight Sag. Once you gaslight Sag, they turn up on you, and you don't want to get fried by a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is one of the only zodiac signs that will roast everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, everyone has that Sagittarius friend who just roasts everyone. Like, you can't bring them nowhere because you know they're going to say something that's just going to make everything either awkward or super funny. Okay? Like, Sagittarius is so savage, they will roast your mom in public, and then your mom will laugh and probably roast them back. Like, no one's gaslighting Sagittarius. All the delusions you've told yourself, all the lies you've told yourself, all the lies you've accepted from others, is all coming out into the open. The meaning of who you are is changing because the truth of who you are is establishing itself in the material realm. Okay. It's definitely super amazing because this is how you will bring form and understanding to your superpowers. And a lot of what you are activating for your life is right under your nose, as well as very powerfully around your crown. What you really want to allow this week to do is powerfully change the way that you interact with unseen forces. Change the way you interact with spirit guides and gain greater sight. This is a week where energies, concepts, things, abilities and powers that you have never seen will make themselves aware and just show themselves to you. A lot of people think they can't see energies. A lot of people think they can't see spirit guides. Oh no, they can show themselves to you. There's a whole 12th house. There's a whole 12th house. There's a whole invisible empire. There's a whole civilization, society, higher-minded thought, all right, that exists at higher frequencies. In fact, that's what they're who are responsible for these higher-minded ideals that put us on, right? So, you know, there is a whole Sarate. That is not just a fictional narrative and idea. Of course, it could be science fiction or animated, but that's based off a true concept. There is an afterlife. All right. You only live once, but that's not because you die. That's because even after you move on to the next life, you're still living that same stream of consciousness. And a whole lot of this galactic shift, Neptune in Pisces is generationally turning on conscious sight for everyone, so that by 2020 into 2030, we're integrating the reawakening of the gods, the angels, the higher archetypes, the Nephilims who used to originally walk with man, before Enki and Ea got in trouble for birthing and enlightening man with knowledge. And I'm just talking mythologically, so don't necessarily take that too seriously. The way this will actually manifest for you in this real life is through really examining how a lot of what you have understood about yourself can create conflicts, because you now have to break away from old order. I know I'm preaching now. I know some of you hear me at a soul sense. This is still spiritual war. Most of you, some of you watching this are angels. Some of you watching this are reincarnated gods and goddesses, and you're realizing that you only had this earthly incarnation so that you can have your body as a sacrifice to move forward to this apotheosis. Let me see if I said that right. This is something that is literally exclusive to Pluto and Scorpio and beyond. Those of you who have Pluto and Scorpio, Pluto Sag, Pluto Cap, you have a mandatory apotheosis. All right. The apotheosis is elevation to a divine status, deification. All right. Apotheosis means you came into this life specifically to undergo ego death. I'm talking to you, Pluto Scorpio, 84 to 95. You specifically signed up to go through ego death, to go meet and understand intimately the darkest parts of your shadow so that you can die to it. And like the final decan of Scorpio, be reborn like the phoenix into Sagittarius, God consciousness. Pluto Sagittarius, you're already born deified. Pluto Capricorn, 2008 up until 2020, these little kids are born gods. They don't have to have apotheosis. And they're like tripping their parents out because of the Ascension talk that they're just spitting off the gate. And this is facts, okay? You can go to any of these kids. This is why they're also getting distorted and corrupted easily with the lack of purity that they may not necessarily be exposed to. So really keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Most of you are running away from this process. Most of you are running away from this darkness. Most of you are afraid of your darkness. Don't be afraid of your darkness. Kick back, drink a beer with it. You know what I mean? Like, don't necessarily let it run you, but don't put it in some corner. What I mean by that is, a lot of you are afraid of yourselves. A lot of you are afraid of embracing. It's like everyone wants to release their darkness. Everyone wants to suppress their darkness. Everyone wants to find a way to let it go. But you're supposed to embrace it. You're supposed to embrace the good parts of yourself. You're supposed to embrace what other people say are the bad parts of yourself, because it's really not your shadow. A shadow is just subjectively casted by someone's light of consciousness to what they see as dark within you. It's still all one and the same energy. So in order to embrace this, some of you are running away from it and you're wondering why you're going through the same stuff. You have to meet it head on, embrace it, understand it, know what has to change about it, really see and be conscious about what was unconscious to you. And the reason why you feel like suppressing it is many of you have been brainwashed and programmed to believe that this is a very evil part of yourself that you're not supposed to accept. And it's nothing evil at all. It's just whatever is lacking light within you. This is why Teal Swan nailed this. The whole notion of infinity. One end of infinity is the light of consciousness. The other end of infinity is the lack of that, the darkness. And you're in the middle point where you take the light into the darkness and you come out. Well, you don't have to even come out, but it's that middle point where they intersect, and not necessarily even intersection, but definitely integrating both wholes to become whole. It's not necessarily a new concept. The reason why we're more in tune with this is because over the past 30, 50 years, the outer planets have been putting in work. All right, back in the 40s and 50s, when Uranus and Pluto, or rather Pluto was in Cancer and Leo, a lot of what these older people put in place are completely being trampled. Like Pluto and Sagittarius and Pluto Scorpio are completely squaring it right and just completely going left field with it. And it's going to be more evident, right, as time goes on. But a lot of these outer planets that are now reaching the end of the zodiac signs, Uranus, which is already in Taurus, is allowing you at length to now integrate a greater experience with the collective consciousness, okay? Some of you are going to be initiated by the collective conscious vibration, where it's as if the collective conscious itself manifested in an avatar or being, and you interact with it. So by interacting with that one entity, you're interacting with every single person that is, like an Aquarius or Pisces. All right, so representative. So keep that in mind. Just remember, you are no one's punk. All right, you don't necessarily have to allow people to coerce you negatively. You know how some people can take things you've done that are bad and not even bad. It's not even bad. They could take things that you've done that they don't agree with and then use that to manipulate you to feel guilty. I have to bring up guilt manipulation because that's the dark side of Jupiter and Scorpio, and that's the dark side of this square with Aries and Capricorn. Okay, the king comes to Aries to Scorpio, and the square to Aries from Capricorn equals guilt manipulation, because Aries is the spark of fire that's just going to be it unapologetically. And sometimes you have to contain that fire, but if you do too much, you spark up any sort of originality. So stay true to the war in your hearts and the peace in your soul so that you can definitely move forward courageous and victorious. We're going to end the week off, of course, with the moon in Aquarius. So we're really just going to get through that Capricorn chapter. And moving through that Capricorn chapter, trust me when I say certain ways you feel are going to be purged and transformed forever. This is one of those weeks, it's going to just kind of take you by surprise. A lot of quick changes based on things you've already worked on from within. So it's going to look and feel like it's coming out of nowhere, but it's everything you've set into place astrally and in this lifetime and world. Okay, so I'm going to go straight to the cards. Aries moon, Aries rising. We have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is definitely speaking of this week, you gaining greater understanding of where to direct your life. Although it's interesting because it comes with the Ace of Pentacles. So it looks like you're going to be doing your research about a new income stream. You're definitely going to have certain people eyeing what you're on too. So there's a bit of spy work here, but definitely just keep that in mind. Okay. Taurus moon, Taurus rising. We have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is very much about compassion and a lot about safety, but more so about psychological wisdom. So you, Aries and Taurus, you guys are going to deal directly with these individuals. Aries, you're going to deal with the Page of Swords. Taurus, you're going to deal with the King of Cups. Be receptive and open to how they may challenge your ideas. Gemini moon, Gemini rising. We have the Four of Wands. This is a good birthday present. So this is definitely a lot about, you know, sanctuary where you live. You're going to have a much stronger connection to your community and foundation. And there's definitely a lot of, there could be a living situation with you and a soulmate who reunite and get together. So keep that in mind. It's definitely a very fun card. So expect a lot of fun. Cancer moon, Cancer rising. The card that we have for you is the Death card. The Death card is definitely speaking of transformation and also you ending certain phases in your life. Cancer, Pluto, this Pluto opposition is ready for you. It's coming to take you through this portal, okay? So just definitely prepare for total death. Leo moon, Leo rising. We have the Death card for you too. So Leo, they're coming for you as well. I mean, I literally pulled this. As I said, they're coming for you. For you, I think you might be an agent of this transformation, but nah, it's really more a luminary thing. The sun and the moon, Leo and Cancer, like blah. It's definitely going to give you quite the transformation form. Virgo moon, Virgo rising. We have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles, if anything, is speaking of feeling a little bit alienated. I think this might not be the most fun week for you, Virgo, because it's a full moon that's squaring you. So you have to really deal with your public life and private life and balance both with people who just may not be there. Thankfully, I got the Six of Cups, Pentacles, though. So it's like you can have financial assistance if you need it. There will be some right people to help you through this. It's not really so bad, though. It's something necessary for now, at least. Okay. Libra moon, Libra rising. We have the Six of Cups. Soulmate alert, soulmate alert. Six of Cups is talking about a very pure and kindred connection with someone near and dear to you. Your inner children are going to have an important conversation together that's going to remind both of you of certain gems that you had. It's going to be like a nostalgia blast to the past with this person, and it's just going to be so fruitful. Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So this is important because this card was linked to Aries, all right? Looks like you're going to be the one with the new income stream. This is definitely, and then maybe Aries might check it out, right? But the Ace of Pentacles is definitely about new money, new income, new projects being set in motion. Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius rising. The Two of Pentacles is definitely talking about you putting into fruition a lot of your ambition and taking it a step forward from Scorpio and industrially enterprising your ideas, keeping your money on the prize and on the bond, juggling multiple income streams. This is definitely also important because it's going to have you test and ground your infinite magic power in something practical so that you can learn how to apply these new magical skills with something mundane, okay? Before you do what you really want to do when Jupiter goes in Sag. Capricorn moon, Capricorn rising. We have the Knight of Swords. Swoosh. So you're definitely going to be dealing with this young whippersnapper. It's the card of Gemini. Uh-oh. Y'all might have to run away this week. The Geminis are coming for you, Capricorn, this week. You might have a new Gemini lover this week who just takes you by surprise. Like, what the hell? I hate you, but I think I like you a little bit this week. So just keep that in mind, okay? They're definitely going to come with their A game. Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising. We have the Justice card. So this is definitely speaking of fairness and accountability. This Justice card is going to swing the sword of justice and truth. And all you want to make sure is that you're being fair to everybody, because when this occurs, it's going to very, very, very powerfully invoke a greater sense and level of magic, because anyone who has been unfair to you or is out of the right will just be exposed, so you can make the right decision. Pisces moon, Pisces rising. We have the Justice card for you too. So that's interesting, because we had the same card for Cancer and Leo, and now we have the same card for Aquarius and Pisces. All right. The Justice card is karmically rectifying a lot of energy for you, Aquarius and Pisces, so that all the people who threw brujeria and negative intent on you because they hated on your swag or because they just didn't like you, the Justice card is going to balance the karma. That's why Aquarius and Pisces, the universe was like, don't do anything back. Don't do anything back. Just take it. Just take it. All the people who are disrespecting you, just take it. Aquarius and Pisces, don't clap back. Don't clap back. Because now the Justice card is going to come into effect. And certain people are literally just going to drop like flies. You're going to find that certain people, bad things happen to them because everything that they did to you on the scale, justice is bouncing. So, floop, and it's going to boom, all right, and come back to them. So just keep that in mind. And in Aquarius and Pisces, keep it in mass. Like Libra, Taurus, like it's going to happen more like every month. But Aquarius, Pisces can take it in for like years. And it's not South North Aquarius is harness here. So I'm going to do the super chat now. And the card that I have for everybody, whether you donate or not, is the World card. Saturn, especially in Capricorn, wants you to achieve your super self. Saturn wants you to tap into your superpower. So make a contract with Saturn. Talk to Saturn, okay? Really know that your complete form and your complete self exists. Saturn wants you to create your complete ultimate form, okay? So tap into that, meditate on that. The world is saying this week, you're going to come into great success that you've dreamed about, but will now be a reality. So the Saturn and Capricorn homework that I have for you is to take this breathing exercise. I want you to really take your heart's greatest dream, all right? What is it that your heart deeply wants to manifest? All right. It doesn't have to be just one thing too. What is it that your heart deeply wants? Okay. And I want you to breathe that in. I want it to be a part of your reality. Feel it. What is it you feel? What is it you hear? What is it you see? Light cast this a little bit. Start to see all parts of the Zodiac here and breathe this in. And then breathe out gratitude. Okay. And then as you do that, I want you to integrate that with your reality. So, you know, before where you might just sit down and focus that, I want you to then take that with you. And you don't have to do your diaphragm, but slowly keep that in your mind and feel it. Anchor the feeling with what you do. So with everything you do, you're allowing it more and more in your life. And it's a part of your lifestyle. This is how you make the 6th house the 12th house. Incorporate people you know into your personal fantasy or wish so that they can anchor certain archetypes for you. This is an advanced sense. Okay, so other than that, the body hack that I have is as you're breathing, after you do the breathing exercise and you take all facets and you feel it as your reality, then clench and squeeze really tight. And then feel it letting go. And then, of course, just maintain the breath. All right. So do that this week. Do that every day this week for 2 weeks. From the portal, as you're coming out of the spiritual into the real, this mutable energy will take this hack and really take this breathing exercise and accelerate the manifestation of this. And Saturn is ready to help make everything real for you. So congratulations. Okay. I will now do the super chat. Empress Daisy, it is time. It is time for you to tap into the real you at a much deeper level. The limits and the chains are breaking, and you want to facilitate this with the visual stimuli. There's something near and dear to you have to see to trigger the breaking of this seal. And I think you know what it is. I think it was introduced to you, but you were told not to watch it until you're ready. If not, it will be shown to you. And we have the 10 of Wands. You're kind of blocked with burden. You know what I mean? I think you feel a lot of responsibility you have to deal with. This is definitely changing so that you're in a much greater degree to actually do better for yourself, okay, and handle a lot of this responsibility. Lily 626, we have the 4 of Wands, so that this is talking about great celebration, and this is talking about very powerful happiness. You're going to definitely come into much more abundance and great surprises. K. Martin, we have the 3 of Pentacles. It's definitely almost time. It comes with the 2 of Wands and the Strength. So you're going to really practice a lot of skills and work on a project you're passionate about. So really embrace that. Lena Love, we have the Death card and we also have the Strength card. So you're going through a very important transformation into your super self, to where, Lena, you've harnessed parts of this infinite strength before, but now you're transforming to a level to where you can harness it indefinitely and super strongly. Miss Kiki, we have the Magician card for you. The Magician card is saying that you're channeling the ability. This is you going limitless. This is you going limitless, and you're going to be able to maintain the state indefinitely too, through your mind and through your heart. It's very hard for people to maintain it through their mind. So whenever people kind of give you the impression that you're too in your head, let them know you're an air sign and you have a supreme mind that they may not. So you can do things in your head and with your heart that most people may not be able to do so. Don't necessarily let people feel like you're too in your head. You're not too in your head. You're creating magic with your third eye and throat chakra. Dark Raw Indigo. Whoop, whoop. The card that I have for you is the 8 of Wands. Energy is going to be moving swiftly, and your situation is going to change very, very quickly. So be very prepared for the swift flow. Swirly 777, we have the 8 of Cups, and you're definitely going to be walking away from that which doesn't serve you, but it's also going to allow you to gain recognition. So I get the sense that I think you're involved with certain people who don't value you, but once you kind of separate yourself from that, you're quickly going to gain recognition from people who do value. Okay, Licto 13, we have the Magician card for you too. So this full moon in your 7th house can probably attract an ideal soulmate. The Magician definitely does talk about great communication and believing in yourself. Okay, Kelsey Steffens, we have the Magician card for you too, and it's coming with the Death card. So there's a magical evolution of your consciousness that's going to facilitate a greater way you can use your skills to materially affect your reality, like you're MacGyver and you can handle any situation. Khalil Lewis, we have the King of Cups. You definitely want to maintain the emotional mastery and maturity, and someone who embodies this is going to help mentor you indirectly. Masai Laney, we have the 5 of Cups. It's okay to mourn, all right? There's something that I feel that you might have dropped the ball on, but interestingly enough, there's something new that's coming your way. Something that you thought was irreparable, it's going to actually work out. in a very unexpected way. Okay, but it's okay to mourn. It's okay to feel a little bit bad for how certain things went down. Stephanie Gwynn. All right, the card that I have for well, we also have the Judgment card that's going to facilitate the world. So we all got the world, and Stephanie Gwynn put in another card for us. So this is great because so everyone thanks Stephanie because the world card is being facilitated by the Judgment card. The world card is Saturn, and now we have the Judgment. So we're going to awaken to our highest purpose and gain greater ability to harness our super self. So thank you very much, Stephanie. All right. Morgan Best, the card that I have for you is the Strength card. The Strength card is talking about you also transforming into your super self. It's going to just come from beneath, all right? And it's going to activate and turn on the vehicle of your body in very profound ways that will open up a much more powerful level of yourself than you knew was possible because you deliberately blocked yourself from understanding just so that you could really come into it later, and later as a noun. Sharon Andrea, we have the Four of Pentacles. Osiris, this is the card of Osiris. He wants you to know that it's ready for you to kind of, you know, take things to the next level. There's going to be much more money and recognition that you gain. So it's time to walk this path, the secret path. Star Power Blue. We have the Wheel of Fortune for you. The Wheel of Fortune is saying your ancestors are definitely going to expand forward and move greater abundance for you. There's great luck and happiness that you're going to be blessed with. Tamara Ross, speaking of happiness, we have the 10 of Cups. So you're definitely going to find yourself in a very powerful romantic situation filled with bliss with a lover. And that has to do with a lot with the love in your heart. Okay, Daniela F., we have the Death card for you. And the Death card is talking about the connection you made today being the beginning of intense transformation that will touch you in the deepest parts of your soul. Christy Caraballo, we have the Three of Pentacles. Yes, they are the real deal. And this is someone that's going to help you put into motion certain projects to actually create something greater together. Moonbay, the Five of Pentacles is saying that you may feel a bit alienated. The role of your twin flame is a soulmate. Let's not forget. So you talking to a soulmate, it's not necessarily like your twin flame is who you're destined to be with. Your soulmate, you may find maybe who you thought your twin flame was, because what the person who is your twin flame, he carried the vibration of the true twin flame essence. And of course, this soulmate may actually, he may reveal a face of it. So keep that in mind, because we do have the Five of Pentacles, but we have the 10 of Cups too. So there's definitely going to be an evolution of something that didn't start as well to something that's going to be blissful. But just keep that in mind, because when you say my twin flame versus a soulmate, the dynamics of that may not necessarily be exactly as you thought, in a sense where they're both soulmates. Okay, Barbara Griffith, we have the Three of Pentacles for you. And this is definitely speaking of you being in a position of working with other like-minded people to manifest certain projects using your skills. It's going to be great for commercial increase, and the teamwork is going to be very great. Miss Leo Scorp Aqua, your natural channeling ability and your power is awakening, but it's definitely in the sense where you're having to believe in yourself and embrace your more unique gifts, your creative talents, and how you tap in powerfully to your magic is evolving. And this is what's going to allow you, like never before, to awaken creative talents you always knew you were good at, but didn't know you could use so soon. Okay, so in order to really tap into your super abilities, they're going to be in your creative talents. All right, you're going to find ways to use those practically in really cool ways. Okay, Diablo Casar. All right, You are definitely ready to step on a new phase of your path. Everything that you've gone through in this life was to prepare you for where you're taking your life, to where you have now had a well-rounded understanding of where you want to go. And now you're getting ready to step onto a new facet of your power. It's almost as if you walked the path of light for your whole life, or darkness, and now you're ready to walk the other path. And because you walked this one path, you're so experienced for this new path. I also have the Judgment card and the Page of Wands, which is definitely speaking of you definitely once again awakening to a much greater facet and consciousness of yourself. And it's leading to the Four of Wands. You're stepping into a new part of your life that is filled with way much more partying. I can't make this up. Way much more bliss and a lot much more, success and your magic. Okay, it's weeding out all the negativity, and it's really going to be real deal amazing. All right, Holly Ludwig, I have the World card for you. So this full moon is definitely going to complete a whole lot and also kind of awaken you to greater realities as well. All right. So it's going to be great for success and victory and achieving that. Funny Val, we have the Five of Swords. So it's not necessarily a meaningless connection, but it's actually a very powerful connection. It's a connection that has everything you've ever dreamed of. But in order to get to this, you have to go through the differences. There's certain core parts of yourselves that don't like each other. Like maybe your energy body and their mind does not connect, but you are very compatible in a spiritual sense. So you have to get through the challenges in order to kind of understand. But it's not necessarily meaningless. It's just super challenging a lot. Okay. Blossy Cat. We have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is talking about patience, especially when it comes to getting over a broken heart or getting over betrayal. It's definitely something that will take time to heal, and the time spent is worth it. Calypso, we have the King of Cups, though. The King of Cups is talking about you probably, starting something new and practical with this individual, but it's definitely talking about spiritual mastery and self-control. So you want to exercise that, okay? Nika, the card that I have for you is the Seven of Cups. And this is coming with the Nine of Pentacles. So you're definitely going to deal with this sense of, vague distraction. The Seven of Cups is all about illusions, but you're stepping into a much more independent, powerful version of yourself. So it's all good. This is really just to change your mind about certain things in your life through unconventional experiences. This is all going to shift over the next 2 weeks to where you're making a lot of money independently for yourself, and you can get yourself out this fog, okay? Angel Rodriguez, we have the Chariot, you have the light, you have the dark, you can use yin yang release, and you're getting ready to move forward into new realities. Your Merkaba, your car, your body is a Merkaba, and you can activate this to use your infinite potential, okay? Brittany Morris, we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is talking about positive vibes coming your way and you making new friends, you connecting much more powerfully, and surprises from the universe that are amazing. Cindy G, we have the Death card. The Death card is definitely talking about this transforming your life and your family forever. Everything is going to change instantly and in the long term as well. So prepare. Lisa Fisher, we have the King of Cups, and it's also coming with the Star. So this is definitely talking about peace and bliss in a certain sense where, these two individuals are able to expand their consciousness, and the changes in love and career are going to bring so much more compassion and healing. All right. So based on how much positively you bring up this energy too. Chad Taylor, you're coming up with a lot more unique ways of gathering together your Ascension squad. because with this full moon, it's definitely time to start busting missions. If this is going to open up great for recruitment. I even have the Three of Wands, where you're definitely ready to move forward on more advanced facets of your manifestation work that will involve other people. So this is why you want to recruit the right people, okay? And they're just going to come too. You're going to find you have people who talk your language and kind of see what you show them. So it's going to be really cool. It's not going to be people who you have to explain things to. It's like, oh wow, they understand me on that level. But you'll be like their leader, because it's like you'll understand and you'll see a little bit more than them. So it's going to be good. Rafa Mama, we have the King of Cups for you too, and this King of Cups might want to work for you. The Eight of Cups is definitely talking about greater psychic mastery over the work you do, but I see this King of Cups is Scorpio or someone who's very compassionate, kind of talking to you and having the hots for you. Sandy Lancaster, we have the Three of Wands. You want to account for great transformation by planning, and not just planning, but also taking into account of seeing what is the future you want to step into? What are the plans that you have for yourself moving forward? Ooh, because this is definitely going to very, very greatly influence whether certain romantic potential will fit in or not. Brett Dickinson, we have the Queen of Pentacles. It's funny, you said a card for a relationship, and that's her. The Queen of Pentacles is who you're probably already friends with or will be friends with. She's someone who you'll connect with naturally as a Taurus and will definitely be able to ground. It's just the archetype, a feminine archetype, but she'll be able to nurture a lot of your projects. Christy Aphrodite, we have the Two of Pentacles. So what's going on at work is you're having to account for the ups and downs. You're having to experiment with new income streams. And I think you're being watched. You're very busy. You're staying productive. And it's allowing you to definitely be seen in certain ways that show your talent and skills. So just keep on accounting for the ups and downs. This will definitely have people let know how serious and good of worker you are and how well you maneuver and navigate. The Three of Swords for you, Margaret, is definitely speaking of having to come to terms with slight changes. What's up, Miko? Love the necklace. Having to deal with slight changes and sacrifices. There's three things you might have to sacrifice in your habits or certain people that no longer you're ready to let go. You'll know because your heart has been kind of worried about sacrificing it. It's time, okay? Chas, we have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is saying June is going to be exciting. June is going to be passionate. June is going to be forward moving. The presence of this Sagittarius influence is going to inspire a lot of change for you too. Nayeli, we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is talking about soulmate love and energy from above that will help you tap into powerful nostalgia. Someone donated $1.99 and the message was deleted. We have the Four of Wands. This is definitely going to instill a lot of joy and partying. So definitely enjoy the good news to come. Desiree Samuelson, we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is definitely talking about a connection with someone, but I think you're entertaining other options. I think you might necessarily also be contemplating whether it's worth it or not. So just sit with your feelings and really allow yourself to tell yourself things you may have known, but we'll see in a different way. Khalik Stay, we have the Four of Wands. This Taurus guy may be someone who moves into you, with you. There's deep love between you two that is also going to be developed. So this is great. There's a solid connection here. And I think this person can represent home for you or vice versa. Sarah Lindsay, happy birthday to your beautiful sister. Her next year is going to hold introspection with the Hermit card. Outside of the tarot, okay, first the tarot is saying introspection and strength. So the next year is going to allow for her to take time to go within so that she can realize she's infinite in nature. but I swear it's always something. Nigga never tripping, but I swear it's always something. Yeah. But I swear. So there's going to be internal focus. There's going to be evolution. And once again, next year is going to bring with it her going in and realizing she's stronger than she ever realized. Woo! So lots of magic here. And also, you know, outside the tarot, a lot of how she deals and handles interactions with other people will be kind of freaky because her psychic power is just going to be shocking and zapping people. And the way to circumvent that is just to let it happen and try not to apologize for certain things you may not have been able to control, because her psychic energy is going to react. When someone's thinking something negatively in their head about her, it's going to zap. I know you hating. Zap, zap, zap. All right. She probably has a lot of Uranus aspects, and that's what's coming from. Let us live. We have the Eight of Cups. Walk away, walk away, walk away. Let it go. Don't let it stay. Sacrifice it now today. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So thank you guys once again for let's get it. Transformation. Thank you guys once again for joining me. Embrace the transformation process. Embrace your shadow. Even if everyone else hates your shadow, show us some love. Let it know you in this together. Integrate and harmonize that bad boy. And until next time, peace.